Welcome to AER Int channel, and on this occasion, let's continue to learn together about surface modeling. This was how we left the candlestick holder. So we've got the basic shape there that we want. We've trimmed away some sharp edges and parts that we didn't want, and we've added the base there. Now we want to round off some more of these sharp edges using fillets, and we'll also look at a different way that we can make the surface model into a solid. So let's say we wanted to fillet this top edge here. If this was a solid model, we would actually take away some material when we make the fillet there. But we can't really do that in this case because we've got no thickness to these surfaces. If we took away an edge there, it would just leave us a gap. Luckily there's a fillet tool, especially for surfacing. However, before we get there, we can see that we've got 3 different surfaces and they're all separate. Up here in the surface body folder, we can see there's 3 separate surfaces. You might remember from solid modeling that we can't add a fillet between separate bodies. First we've got to join them together somehow. And with the surfaces, we can do this using the knit feature. Let's go to the surfaces tab, choose knit surface, and then let's select all 3 of our surfaces. We don't need any of these options selected, so we can uncheck all of those and then press OK. And now we've got one single surface. There's a combination of those 3 previous surfaces. We can now use the fillet tool. Let's go to the surfaces tab and let's choose fillet. And let's say add a 10mm fillet to these faces. We can choose either the inside edge or the outside edge. It doesn't make any difference, because like we said, the surfaces have got no thickness, so whether we choose the inside or the outside, it will give us the same end result. The fillet tool parameters are pretty much the same as the normal fillet tool from solid modeling, with all the different options for types of fillets and everything. So let's set that 10mm one, and let's press OK to add those 2 fillets. And now we basically have the shape that we want, but because it's made of surfaces, it's got no mass. So we won't be able to 3D print this or machine it, or really do anything with it, apart from maybe make some basic rendering, until we make it into a solid. You might remember from the cube video, we said that to make a solid, we need an outer shell with no gaps, and then we need to knit all those surfaces together. But in this case we haven't really got an outer shell, because we've just got the overall shape, but with no thickness. So for models like this where we don't really have an enclosed space, there's actually another way that we can make them solid, and that's using the thicken tool. This will basically take a surface and it will give it thickness. So let's have a look at that. Here it is on the surfaces tab. It's called thicken, and it's quite straightforward. First we need to just choose the surface. We've only got one in the model, so let's select that. Then we can choose the thickness. I think 1mm is good for this one. And then we can choose to either add the thickness to the inside, which is side 1, to the outside, side 2, or to both sides evenly, sort of like a mid-plane, although technically this is called thicken both sides. So let's go with that one, thicken both sides, and let's press OK. And now we can see our surface model has been made into a solid model that's 1mm thick all the way around. We can see the solid bodies folder has appeared. We've got one solid body. The surface bodies folder has disappeared because the surfaces has been consumed making the solid body. We can also go to a cross-section view. And we can see as we track through the model, we've got 1mm thickness everywhere in the model. So that the candlestick holder pretty much finished. We could maybe add some fillets around these outer edges to smooth them off if we want. It's quite a simple model, but hopefully it has shown us some basic techniques that we can use to build more complex models. To recap this video, we wanted to add some fillets to the model, but before we could do that, we had to first join the different surfaces together using the knit surfaces command. We could then use the fillet tool from the surfaces tab, and this is very similar to the normal fillet tool that hopefully we've used a lot of times in normal solid modeling. And then finally, to make the surfaces solid, we use the thicken tool. So to use this, we can just select the surface we want to thicken, then we set the thickness value, and then we can choose whether we want to thicken on the inside or the outside, or equally on both. And that's a really easy way to convert our surfaces into solid models. In the next section, we're gonna look at some more advanced surfacing techniques, things like sweeps, lofts, and filling surfaces. And we'll be making something like this, which is a hosepipe sprayer head. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you like. I hope it can be a little helpful and useful.